It would seem as though.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hola,
Hola.
chica, ¿cómo estás?
Oh, same old, feeling
Yeah.
great,
Feeling
beautiful.
Just so peppy and zippy and
Yeah.
ready to run
Oh my
around
God.
like a crazy lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're coming at you live this week from the Democratic National Convention. We're not really, I don't even know where that is. I know what's going on.
I was like, is it just the two of us?
It's
My
just
cat-
us, that's why it's so quiet.
My cat and dog.
Right,
This is our party.
So we've taken our, we're in one of those hotel rooms by ourselves.
Yeah, we're in a niche Democratic
Because
party.
we don't actually want to
associate,
see any of those
talk
people.
to, be around.
Right. Presidential nominee, presumptive nominee Kamala Harris will be up here later to chat with us and hang out.
Oh
and
my God, will
do
she?
facials and stuff. Well, because she's cool like that.
she's here in our hotel room. Yeah, that would make
No,
sense.
she's in our hotel.
Oh, our hotel.
Like she's gonna stay in a regular fucking hotel.
I don't. Yeah,
No.
right. It's the motel. She just
Right. We're at the old Motel 6 and she's in the room down the hall.
Yeah.
And welcome to another week of It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
Mostly nothing.
Yeah, this week we're going to talk about a few things that, whatever. But I do want to talk about the upcoming election.
Sure.
Because
Tell me.
as I mentioned before,
Yeah.
now that it's Kamala and Tim Walz,
Blah, blah.
I actually have hope for the first time in like 8 years that things could get better.
Yeah.
And I heard someone say the other day that Tim Walz could serve 8 years as vice president and then 8 years as president and still be younger than Trump is now.
That's crazy to me.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck?
And I would like to know, and if anybody actually can understand this, please tell me. I want to know how anybody listens to anything that comes out of Trump's mouth and doesn't go, what the fuck is he talking about?
For real.
I mean, honestly, I listened to him talk the other day, and I sat there just scratching my head going, what?
I know.
Because it's, one, he never says it. He talks and talks and talks and says nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
And he goes in circles. In fact, he even addressed the fact that people call him rambling. And he's like, I don't ramble because I don't ramble, and I'm a smart man, and I know. And he rambled talking about rambling.
Girl.
And how he doesn't do it.
That's so crazy.
And do you know who Lawrence O'Donnell is? He's on, I think, CNBC.
Okay.
He literally just read one of Trump's speeches. And he read it verbatim.
As Trump said it.
As Trump said it. I mean, but with no emotion.
Yeah.
And nothing. Obviously, it's not people screaming and cheering for the ridiculous things he says. And honest to God, it was like word salad.
That's so
There was not a point. There was
Yeah,
not there wasn't even a sentence in there. It was all just a bunch of nonsensical bullshit. So how does anybody listen to this guy and say, yeah, he's the future?
Well, that would be a harder question to answer if we weren't failing in literacy rates nationwide. If we, weren't ranked one of like the worst school systems in the world. Like that might, if we could teach, I don't know, real history or real things that mattered, or teach kids how to read without just pushing them along, or I don't know, how to write a story, or kind of anything.
I will say that one of the, I think, worst things to happen to education was the No Child Left Behind Act. Because it sounds great. No Child Left Behind, that's what we want. We want no child left behind. But it meant that no matter how poorly they're doing, we're going to pass them right on through school.
Whether they're competent or not.
Whether they're competent, whether they can read, whether they can take a test, whether they can do any of the shit, we're just going to pass them along because we want no child left behind. Well, they're absolutely left behind because they're so far behind everyone else, they'll never catch up.
So then they get into the real world and they can't read, they can't write.
Can't apply for a job.
No. So, and then what? What happens? Drug addiction, pregnancy, homelessness, right? And like,
Life crime.
Yeah, and that sucks. Like, that sucks because the school system failed because government legislated to be like, well, as long as we keep pushing them along, they'll catch up.
Right.
That's not how that works.
No, it's not how it works. But also, one of the things I've noticed, and everybody else has to have noticed, is that whenever Trump talks, it's never about the issues. In fact, he can't talk about the issues because he will start to say, well, our economy isn't, and then he'll just tell a string of lies. Like, when he left office, it was the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
And now it's the worst it's ever been.
He's just very hyperbolic.
Which is really the opposite.
Yeah.
Because what I learned the other day is there has not been a Republican president who has left the office better than he found it.
Love that.
In fact, most of them have put us into a recession.
Love that. So good.
Whereas Joe Biden, like him, hate him, I don't care. He and his team, and I think it's more about his team than him, have his cabinet have created a record number of jobs. Inflation is down, believe it or not, even though the price of everything seems really high. Unemployment is down. All these things. But he'll say that, oh no, it's all up, blah, blah, blah. It's like my favorite one. And literally, I was like, this isn't even a thing. You just pulled this out of your ass.
Yeah.
He said that in the Biden administration, they created, it's like 350,000 jobs. Some crazy number like that.
Yeah.
Now, the number's probably wrong, so, don't quote me. But then he said, but 100% of those jobs went to migrants. In fact, I think it was probably more than that.
Oh.
More than all?
More than 100%.
So more than all of the jobs went to migrants. So what, they brought some with them?
They brought jobs with them?
They were like, I'm bringing some jobs with me.
So now you're mad at the immigrants for bringing jobs? I'm confused.
More than 100%. First of all, no.
How does that work?
Right. And
Unless
it's not even, there's no facts, and he speaks with zero facts.
I know.
He's fact-checked and they find that, like, in a 1 hour speech, there's sometimes thousands of lies.
Yeah, like 97% of what he said has been a lie.
And
Or
then the
just
other part is just
fabricated.
nonsense.
I know, it's
because
weird.
one of the speeches he made recently was, well, first of all, he was in Michigan, and he thanked the people of North Carolina for having him. And it was like,
They're
you're
super
in
close.
Michigan,
North
idiot.
Carolina, super, super close.
But his people had written him a speech and said, please just read the speech on the teleprompter. Don't go off topic. Don't blah, blah. And he couldn't do it.
Yeah, I bet
He
not.
couldn't do it. He had to go on about how his crowds are the biggest and Kamala's are all AI. She doesn't have any real crowds. But his are all real and they're the biggest ever in history of anybody ever to make any speech in the world. What? And then there was that interview he did with fucking Elon Musk. Did you hear about this?
No.
On Truth Social, I think, or was it on
No.
X? It was on one of their idiot platforms.
Good.
But for the first hour that it was supposed to happen, they had some glitch and it couldn't happen.
Good.
And it was like, okay.
The liberals hacked it.
One of the things Trump said to Elon Musk was, well, when I talked to Putin, I told him, it was talking about invading the Ukraine. I told him, don't do it. It's not you can, but you shouldn't do it because it'll be bad for you if you do it. And he said, no way. And I said, way. Are you in elementary school? Because honestly, I haven't said no way to something since
way.
school. Way.
I want you to know that if that's what happened, I think I would have gained a little increment of respect for his ability to have a conversation if he said, no way. Way. That is really funny. I hate Donald Trump.
Way. It's total way.
I almost said talking to Donald Trump. That's not what I meant. Oh my God. Listening to Donald Trump is often like talking to grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's
I think there's similar issues there.
Yeah, it's very jumbled, very confused, and she says stuff that she's very, she believes to be true. But then everything else she says is just like a puzzle. It's like puzzle pieces, but all the puzzle pieces are for different puzzles,
That is the best way I've heard that put.
And so it feels.
Yeah, and then if anybody's missed it, my mother has dementia, and that's what Annika's talking about right now. But that is the best way I've heard that put. It's like, it is all puzzle pieces, but to 10 different puzzles.
Yes, girl.
And so, you have to figure out which box it even goes in to start with.
Yeah, like every time I talk to Grandma, there's moments where I'm like, okay, she's on it. She knows what she's talking about. It makes sense. But then a lot of fantasy gets interwoven. Like, it's like she took her nightgown and just started embellishing it. She's like, it's the same thing. It's not. It's really not the same thing anymore. It makes me think of this, like, ancient Greek ship that they found, right? And they brought it up, but then, like, after a while, like, wood started to rot, so they would start to, like, replace the wood, right? But after a while, once everything is replaced, is it the same ship? Is it the original ship, or is it, a completely new ship? And that's how I feel talking to Grandma. Like, she's taking pieces out and replacing them with things that she thinks she remembers. Right. So
and as a visual, because I, of course, don't know this Greek ship. But like the Peter Iredale, which is a ship that's on the coast of Oregon. That when it crashed there, like 100 years ago, it was a full ship, obviously. And now it is just the remnants of a skeleton. And if somebody decided we should rebuild this ship, well, there's hardly any real ship left. And I kind of feel like that's what is. You know, that is a good metaphor for her brain, because most of the stuff is gone.
She's filling in the gaps.
She's filling in the gaps with, but the stuff she's filling in the gaps with sand, because it runs right out, and then there's new gaps to fill in. Or refill the exact same ones. Which honestly, it is frustrating and confusing. But I can only imagine how frustrating
it is for her.
It is for her.
Oh yeah,
to be like, well, this happened, and I no longer even bother with. Well, no, because it doesn't matter. One, she's not going to remember in 5 minutes. And two, she's just going to get irritated. So it took me a long time. And my cousin Anne was the one who really was like, just ask yourself, will it matter on Tuesday? Well, now it doesn't matter 15 minutes from now. So there is no correction. There is no whatever.
No.
I will sometimes, it's like when I have to try to get the bottoms, like, where's your phone? Where'd you leave your phone? It's now completely stone dead. So we can't, like, ring it to find it. Where might it be? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it in days.
I know,
That's my favorite. I haven't seen it. Well, it was there, and someone obviously took it.
It's always that, too. Someone obviously did it to
her. Well, it's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to it. It wasn't me.
Well, and it's like
and it feels like a child.
Yeah,
It was like, much. What did you do with my thing? Well, I don't know.
I haven't seen it. My brother took it. He broke it. Yeah, it's like, I didn't do it. So the house's ghost did it. Like, I remember that when I was a kid. No one did it, so the Phantom did it. Like,
right. It did it. It just floated away on a cloud.
Yeah.
What happened?
Girl, I know. I don't remember what I was going to say now. Great. Thanks.
Sorry.
No, it's
sorry.
fine. It was probably about your grandmother.
But living with her and listening to Trump, it feels very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to bluster through and make it sound like he knows what he's talking about, but he never fucking does.
No,
and the fact that people are following him and going, this is, I think, now I am not politically savvy, so I don't know if this is true, but it feels true to me that I think they are electing him, or want to elect him, just as a figurehead for the group. Because he's so easy to manipulate now because he's old and crazy.
Well, I think the politicians feel that way, but the mass public doesn't.
No, because the Trumpers, they went to his rally wearing diapers in support of him. They wore T-shirts that said, I'm electing a convicted felon for president.
They taped their
ears with
and have you seen what they're doing
maxi
now?
pads on their ears.
What they're doing now, they're carrying, this has nothing to do with Trump, but it's J.D. Vance. They're carrying around little, what look like sample bottles. Oh,
God, that's so gross. I saw that.
Like, fake sperm.
Little sperm bottles.
To laugh at all the the childless cat ladies. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure if they're childless, a lot of them chose to be
So what, are you offering them a jar of sperm so they're no longer childless?
Yeah, and I don't
What
get
is the point of the jar of sperm?
What I read, and this could be wrong, is that it's to mock people who can't have children. It's to mock the people who don't have children, which I think is so stupid, because I'm pretty sure most people who don't have kids made a choice to not have children, especially now,
Right.
Like, what are you doing? No one cares. You just look like a weirdo carrying around.
But if you don't have children, you don't have a stake in how this country turns out.
That's so funny.
That's what he has said.
Which is so funny.
Like, I don't feel like you are as invested in the state of the country and the thing if you don't have children. What?
No.
So you have to have children to be invested in how the world turns out?
I think that's so stupid, and
it doesn't even make sense.
It's like a narrow way to look at everything, you know?
Do you feel like maybe I need to look at the future more in hopes that my children will have someplace good to inherit?
Yeah.
Sure, but those people don't. The people on the other side don't, because they want to get rid of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of the school board. They want to get rid of all the people who've been trying to do things to make the world less damaged.
Yeah.
They're like, nope, let's fuck it up. We
Yeah,
want to
let's destroy it.
We want to frack the fuck out of everything. We want to, go drilling for oil in like national parks. We want to take all of the natural resources that we can get out of this land. And when we leave, I'm sorry, go read the Lorax.
Yeah, honestly.
Literally. If you can't figure it out, go fucking read the Lorax.
I also feel
because it's very simple and you should be able to understand it no matter how stupid you are.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people should just take a step back and go touch some grass. You know what I mean? Go look at some nature. Go touch some running water. Like, I don't know. Go take a nap. I don't know. Like, maybe eat some food. I don't know. Maybe are you cranky? Why are you nuts? Like, I don't understand. We're going to backtrack for a minute, and it is that Trump supporters are wearing the bizarre sperm containers, which is an apparent dig at Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walz, and families who can't have babies. Isn't that fucking stupid?
Well, first of all, it's petty and childish and mean.
Yeah, well, and also...
I mean, if you're making fun of people who can't have children, that's just fucking mean.
Well, also...
And the fact that Tim Walz and his family had to go through all of the things they had to have their children.
Yeah.
You think that's funny?
Well, do
you
they
think
only
that's something
think
to make
that
fun of?
infertile people are on the left? Do they think only people who can't have children are Democrats? Like, I'm pretty sure there's a ton of infertile people who are also MAGA followers, you know? Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense.
So, something I saw the other day that I have to share with you because I love this. It was a big sign. I don't know where the sign was hung. But it says, things I trust more than Donald Trump.
Okay.
Flint, Michigan tap water.
Oh, God.
Gas station sushi.
Oh, no.
Bill Cosby as the bartender. Taco Bell bathrooms. Tom Brady putting air in my tires.
Oh, my God.
A shark with a pet me sign. A North Korean trial.
Okay.
A shot from Dr. Kevorkian. A Casey Anthony daycare. I was like, oh, we went a little far with that one. A fart when I have diarrhea. And then Anna Navarro, who's one of the, I don't know if she's a host or just a regular guest on The View, added to it, said a role in a movie role from Harvey Weinstein. Mm-hmm. Invitation to church from Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer. Now this one I don't understand. A reverse mortgage from Tom Selleck.
I don't know.
I don't know. Swimming in the Seine.
Yep. People are getting so sick.
Christy Nome taking care of the dog. And J.D. Vance alone in my living room couch.
My God.
And I'm like, brutal.
Well, because the whole Seine thing, you know, like all the French...
Everybody's shitting in
it. And then they held water Olympics in the Seine, and people got very sick from it.
Yeah, of course they did.
They're swimming in sewage.
Oh, you know, that's just so gross.
I know.
Gross! So I'm hoping, because it looks, for the first time in a very long time, the numbers for the election are pretty clear that she's in the lead. And she's leading in almost every state, even states that were always red. Like Arizona, she's leading Arizona, and it's a red state.
Praise God.
You know.
Yeah.
And in some of the swing states... Well, it doesn't help that in some of the swing states he called them, horrible places and bad people and whatever. Because he forgets whatever, it's like, whatever. So, I can only hope that,
I know.
Now that there's, oh my God, did I tell you about the guy that I saw who said that no straight man would ever vote for a woman?
Because they are a woman.
Because they'll turn them into a woman.
Yeah.
Well, there's...
so weird.
All those groups that did the big Zoom calls, there was black women for Kamala, and then white women, and then white men, and now then there was one that was just men, and the men supporting Kamala is a huge group. So crazy. I guess they'll all be women by morning. After they vote. So,
oh my God! So the world would be a safer place if we just turned all the men into women.
Wouldn't it though?
What about war? Gone.
Gone. Rape.
Gone. Yeah, honestly. I mean, granted, yes, women can rape, yes, women can kill, but statistically, it is nil compared to men. But I do get, if all men left, at some point, someone else would have to come up and be the criminal. It would be a different sect of women. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of war, I heard this yesterday.
Great.
And I know that you and I have talked many times about like the rules of war. Apparently, prisoners who are being held in Israeli prisons right now that are Palestinians are being raped by guards, and men, men and women. And when some other organization stepped in and said, like, this is not okay, and went to try and do something about it, the Israeli army stepped in and said, no, this is our right. We have to make sure they are tortured. We have to make sure that they know that their side is wrong. And I'm obviously using my own words. But it's like, they protested and said, no, this is our right.
That's so
They're in our prison.
I know.
And they need to be tortured.
And people just are still like, oh my God, everyone keep your eyes on Israel. Fuck off. Fuck Israel. And this is what I'm going to tell you. There have been people who were picked up by the IDF and arrested for little to no reason, like throwing a fucking rock. And a boy went in, came out with a broken arm. People have come out malnourished. They become underweight. They've been raped. They've been brutalized. Like, and you want to there's a guy who went in there, looked like a healthy Arab man, and came out like a skeleton. And you want to tell me it doesn't look like a concentration camp? You want to tell me that doesn't look reminiscent to you? Right. And you as a Jewish person, you want to look at that and you think, this is regular. This is what my family fought to survive through. So I should inflict it on other fucking people? Because you think this territory that you're occupying has so much force and so much of a military backing, and backing from who? The rest of the world? That they're going to, kill all of you? It's delusional.
Here's the part I want someone to explain to me.
I don't know.
And I don't know that anybody can. This whole fight, going back almost 100 years, is about who has rights to the Holy Land. So you are creating and carrying out atrocities in the name of the Holy Land.
Well,
you are killing people. You are burning the place down. You are bombing the place. You're murdering children, all in the name of, well, the Holy Land's mine. What?
And isn't that a crazy idea to build the Holy Land off the mass graves of other people?
Which is exactly, no matter what happens now. That's exactly what it is.
That's what's going to happen. And one thing that is really upsetting, too, is, the whole olive tree thing. Like, in Israel, if once you have your bat mitzvah, your bar mitzvah, they'll plant trees for you in Israel. And that seems like a sweet, cute thing. Often, what happens is they've taken occupied space that they've cleared out of Palestinians, demolish it, and plant trees on top of it, so it doesn't look like cities were there. It looks like it's been tree groves. It looks like it's been olive groves. But then with the Palestinians, they burn their olive groves. Which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the tree has loyalty to anybody? You're just burning trees.
Right. Use the trees, take the fruit.
That's so fucking
Sell the
stupid.
fruit.
I know. So, I'm just pretty worn out by all of it. Come October, it'll be a year that this has been publicly going on, and the world has watched, and the Western world has done nothing. So...
Oh, no. The Western world has donated, has given them money, has supported it.
And so little by little, we see Western leaders break off from that, whatever, and Kamala has finally said a piece during one of her speeches at a protest saying that she wants an immediate ceasefire or whatever. And that's great and all, but put your fucking money where your mouth is.
Right. And stop giving them money.
Yeah, I don't care if your husband is Jewish. I don't care if your friends are Jewish. I don't care, because being Jewish and committing atrocity in Israel are two different things. Being Jewish and being Israeli are two different things.
Right. Well, it's like, do I believe all people in Israel are behind it? No. I think the Israeli army and government.
Yeah.
Just like I think not all Palestinians are, innocent.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't mean anybody deserves to be
and whether they're
murdered and
innocent or
raped
not. What do you think they have? You know what I mean? They don't have drones. They don't have ships. They don't have planes. They don't have tanks. So what are you afraid of exactly? You're afraid of a militia of men with some guns when you have tanks in the backing of the rest of the fucking world? That sounds pathetic to me. And it not only sounds pathetic, it sounds like you're never going to feel safe in this world. You are going to keep destroying and fighting and killing because you will never feel safe. And that doesn't come from the outside world anymore. Do you know what I mean? There will always be anti-Semites. There's always people who are homophobic and, xenophobic. There's people who are Islamophobic. That will always be the thing. But if you feel you have to kill people who have no stance against you, who have no power to fight back against you, you need to eradicate them. Once you get that place in this world, you'll be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your fucking life. Because do you think people are going to forget that you massacred thousands of people in a short amount of time?
Right.
Do you think people forget this? And that's not what's going to happen. You will feel more unsafe as an Israeli, after you do all of this, then you would
Sure, of
living
course.
alongside the Palestinians. So Israel is making Jewish people less safe. Israel. Not Palestinians, not
Right,
Arabs,
right.
no one else. It's Israel. It's Netanyahu, it's his cronies. And until other Jewish people and until Israelis see that they're the fucking problem, and not Israelis as a whole, but their government, sooner or later the world will turn their back on you. And a lot of the world already has. Western nations, some of them, like Spain, I can't remember the other ones, have already said that they're no longer supporting Israel. They now recognize Palestine as a state. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a good step. Some South American states have already done it too, like Colombia no longer donates coal. And half of the coal Israel uses is from Colombia.
Oh.
So there's a lot of things that are really inhibiting Israel, but it's still happening.
Right,
you know?
right.
Anyway, sorry, that was my rant.
No, that's all right. I like your rants.
Thanks. You know.
I also learned yesterday that in South America, one of the big wars going on, where they're annihilating people.
Yeah.
We as a government are also supporting that.
Yeah.
Because that's where we get a lot of our oil.
Are we shocked?
No.
How many places, nations, specifically in South America, has the United States government intervened and overthrew the government, held a coup, essentially, to instate like a dictator?
Right. When one of the people who is a dictator is who they're supporting.
Yeah.
Because if we don't support him, they will cut off our oil supply. Which is also one of the things that's like, why it's so important that we get away from our need to, our reliance on oil.
Yeah.
It's like why electric cars should be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And are they, as practical for the use? Probably not.
No.
But you're not going to be reliant on someone else.
Well, and honestly, let's put solar panels on everybody's roof. Let's put solar panels on top of schools, on top of buildings. Let's put them literally everywhere we can. Obviously, let's not take over all of nature, but put them, there's enough places. There's enough, put them on top of car dealerships, Costco. Do you know what I mean? Like, put them everywhere. Because if there was solar panels everywhere, we'd have to change things from being, using fossil fuels or whatever. But once it was changed, it would be renewable. It would create less pollution.
Right. But it's all those big companies and stuff are fighting so hard to keep it, which is why, of course, Trump speaks out over and over against the wind farms. Mm-hmm. Which are, well, what if there's no wind that day? You don't have any power. It's like, that is not how that works. But and it's killing all the bald eagles because they fly into the propellers and die, and it's like...
Do you know eagles have, like, really good eyesight?
No.
You know the whole thing of, like, being eagle-eyed means, like, they can see really well.
But because he's backed by a big whale...
Oh, yeah.
Of course he's going to fight against, he's all about the money and the corporation and the top.
That's so funny,
shit.
too. Like, I just have too many morals, I think. Which is weird coming from me, but I feel that way because, like, if anyone, I could never work for an oil company. I could never be like, come tour this, I don't know, oil rig, or come do, no. And even if they were going to pay me, no. I have too many morals, and what you do is destructive. You know what I mean? What you do is damaging to the world, to people, to animals, to nature. Like, I just won't ever, push what I believe in and what I stand for aside for anything. And even if it is money,
Right.
I don't believe in that at all. I think that's ugly.
Well, and it's funny to me that you said, more, coming from you that's funny.
Yeah.
It's not, because the only thing that you do that someone might, or have done in the past, that people might say was immoral is sex stuff.
Yeah.
And what you do with your body is your business.
Yeah.
And I don't think that plays into morals unless you're actually causing harm to someone else.
Yeah.
Then I think if you're having consensual sex with other adults, that's your business.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with morals.
No, totally.
At least in my book.
No.
And you can disagree, that's fine.
Well, most Christians, most people who believe in God would probably just agree that being a sex worker is not a very, you know what I mean? That's like an immoral thing.
I think the biggest reason people have problems with sex workers is because you can't control them. Mm-hmm. You're not able to regulate
what
what they do, tax what they do. I mean, yes, there are states where they do.
Yeah.
and that's fine, and it seems to work well. But the jobs where you're like, you're out making money, and no one's quite sure how much money you're making, and you're probably not paying taxes on that money, and blah. It's like, how is that how does that affect you?
Yeah,
how is that your business?
People want to be all bent out of shape about people having an OnlyFans or doing sex work or stripping or whatever because you're selling your body. Well, it's my body to sell, first of all. And what's worse, selling my body to somebody so I can make money, so I can live the life I want to live, or selling my body to the United States government to go be blown up in a senseless war? You tell me which one makes more sense.
Or to have that option taken away from me and having somebody else sell your body, like in sex trafficking.
Yeah.
The fact that, and I'm jumping back to Trump for a second, that he's been flying around in Jeffrey Epstein's plane. I mean, really, did they not get it?
Honestly.
And there's so many photos of him with Epstein.
Yeah.
And I heard a video of him, or heard an audio tape of him the other day talking about Epstein and saying how he was a great guy. And, he went to a lot of parties with them, and he was always surrounded by beautiful women, most of them really young. Well, yes, because they were teenagers.
Yeah.
And he was selling them for... See, now, to me, that is immoral.
That's highly immoral. Yeah.
If you as a grown-ass woman want to go fuck everybody I don't care.
Yeah.
That is your business.
Yep.
But hopefully you're not getting knocked up by all of them, so you have to then figure out what to do with that.
Sure.
But if you're using your body in a way that seems right to you,
Yep.
who the fuck has any...
Who cares?
Yeah. And OnlyFans, I think that's genius.
Agreed.
I mean, because you're being able to use your own body or your own resources to make money. So you're not making money for a corporation, which pisses them off.
Yeah.
You're not going out into the workforce, which pisses them off.
OnlyFans, they do make money, right?
Yes,
As they
pay taxes.
Yeah.
But they're not working for someone else.
No,
they're not in some corporation.
self-employed. Yeah.
They're not, pushing along Exxon, whatever. They're working for themselves. And so the only person they have to deal with, and the only product they need is themselves.
Yeah. I think it's really funny. One thing we talked about the RNC, where Grindr shot up like crazy.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
What I find so funny is how during the pandemic, places like Pornhub, which is a hub for porn, and so you can look up like kind of any category, right?
Yeah.
They posted during the pandemic like what was their highest search stuff and where. In all the red states across the nation, it was trans porn. People were specifically looking up transgendered women porn. And I'm like, that's hysterical to me, because all of these red states are like anti-trans people, but behind closed doors, bitch, you want it,
Well, and that's that whole self-hatred thing.
Yeah.
Like, we want this thing that is perverted and wrong, and we're taught again that it's so we've got to now legislate against it.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. The Grindr, porn, OnlyFans, the things that blow up, and you see like where they're coming from, because they track all of that. Data is tracked across that. They see where you're located. You know what I mean? They could probably get your IP address. They could get who you are, who you voted for. So it's like not that complicated to really deduce. But yeah, it's really funny to me. I just wish, I guess if people, Republicans, conservatives, were just a little more like not so prudish with their body and had sex with people who wanted to have sex with them opposed to children, we'd be in a different place.
Right.
That would be a huge...
Or we're just honest about it.
Yes.
It's like these people who are, these government people who are lawmakers making laws against queer stuff, but they're having their little boy on the side.
Yeah.
It's like, clearly, you hate yourself because you're queer and you don't want to admit it and you'd be shamed and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, that's your own fight. Why legislate against it?
Yeah.
Why not just go, you know what? That's not my business.
Right.
What grown folks do in their own bedroom is not my business.
I just don't know why people can't walk around and just see that other people are different, diverse, and live, divergent lives from them and be like, I would never do that. That's not my cup of tea. I'm going to go back to Betty Lou or whatever. I'm going to go farm my land. I'm going to go whatever it is you do. But like, why do you have to see what other people do and decide that it's such an issue that you have to fight against it? It's weird.
There are so many things that I hear about in a day that I think I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not like mad that you're doing it.
No.
Like, people will say to me, oh yeah, I'm going camping this weekend. And I'm like, good for you. Have fun. I don't want to go.
No.
So when people say, well, I'm going snorkeling.
Oh.
Or you should... I get this one all the time when people are going to Hawaii. I'm like, oh, that's great. Have you ever been? No, I haven't. Well, you should go. I think you'd love it. Because there's so many cool things. You know, you can go snorkeling. No. You can go scuba diving. No. It's like, you can lay out on the beach. No.
Yeah.
You can go swim up bars. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do any of those things, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
But because you want to, cool for you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm with
and
it.
I'm not going to go, well, those are all wrong.
Yeah, it's weird to me, the things that
I don't like them, so they're wrong.
People add such a morality to how people live their lives, add such a, like, it's full of value, when really it's just how people are conducting their business. And for you to get obsessive and want to take it to court and legislate and have people vote on it is weird.
Yes.
It is weird that you are so obsessive with somebody else's life, who they sleep with, what they do, that you can't clearly think about anything else. Do you sleep about it? Do you have sex with your wife anymore? Do you talk to your children anymore? Or do you just think about how Bob and Steve next door are fucking and you need to vote against it?
Well, when I saw the thing, I think it was on Instagram, where it was a picture of some man proposing to his now fiance.
Okay.
In June, and he's like, well, take that Pride Month. And it was like, so you're proposing to your girl and all you can think about is queer people?
Is gay men? Yeah, I love it.
There's something going on there.
So I'm sure that you are a gay man. I have been watching, I want you to know, a lot of SVU.
You have?
I watched from season 9 through season 24 on
Oh my god.
on Hulu, and then I had to switch to Peacock to watch the newest season, right?
So now what are we on, season 2, 300? What?
We're on season 25. Season 26 is being filmed.
Okay.
So I watched a lot of things.
So are you going to go back and watch 1 through 8?
I'm going to, but I started with it because I watched this episode with Cynthia Nixon where she had multiple personalities. Right. She's
yes.
like, I can't have a baby. I'm just a little girl. And she's like 35 years old. It was the funniest shit I've ever saw. So I continued because I love Olivia Benson. I love Mariska. And now all I'm doing is like researching Mariska Hargitay. And the man she's married to plays a defense attorney. This is none of my point. Anyway. So I'm watching a lot of it, and of course there's like horrific things, interesting things, whatever, but you often see them go to court, the defense attorney, the ADA, so like the district attorney, and talking about Donald Trump and Epstein's planes made me think of this, where it's like, what are you doing? You know, Epstein has been accused, he was never convicted. Was he convicted?
No, yes.
Okay.
But he was in jail.
But he wasn't taken to trial.
So, I don't think he was convicted.
He was arraigned.
He was arraigned, and
Okay.
and then was murdered in jail.
Okay, so that happens a lot, by the way. Drug lords are, like, in prison, and then they're like, oh, kill homeboy who's gonna rat on me. But my point is, a lot of the times in court, it's like, you know, the whole, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, there can be probable cause. There needs to be probable cause. There can be no doubt, whatever. But there's a lot of holes in stories. And even if someone is, like, up testifying and they were like brutalized, raped, whatever, sometimes the jury is like, well, there's not enough evidence that this actually happened, so the defendant, the criminal, gets to go free. And so when I think more about crime in the real world, I think about that. I think about, so we all could see you do this crime and do this horrific thing, but if you go to court and they don't if they don't hold enough evidence in the eyes of the jury and the judge, then you can walk for committing crimes. Yes. So I feel like that's I don't think Donald Trump knows what's going on, but I think if he did, that would be his mindset. Like, good luck. You're indicting me and holding me for all these crimes. Now I'm a felon, and I'm still flying around the country, and I'm still doing what I want. Yeah.
Well, and he's supposed to be sentenced for his 34 felonies is it in September or October? I think September. It's coming right up. And what I have heard, I don't know if this is accurate, what I have heard is that when he is sentenced, that they were going to, like if he is sentenced to jail, that they will let him go to jail after the election is over. And I'm all, why? Put him in jail. Put the man in jail.
So he could be elected president and then go to prison?
But his whole thing is he really wants to be elected president so that he can not go to prison, because then he's like, well, I'm immune from all this stuff because I'm now president, because those asshats that he put on the Supreme Court has said, basically, you're immune from everything that happened while you're president. So it's like, but does that apply to everyone then? Does that apply to everyone who's president? Because then all the shit that you guys were trying to say Joe Biden did, well, he's not, I guess he's not responsible.
Yeah. You know, I want to become president.
Although they can't find anything.
I'm just going to become president and go and kill everyone I hate and be like, immunity. Immunity.
I was president, so...
Yeah, so sorry that I killed everyone, but I have immunity, so we're going to try. Yeah.
So one of the things I actually wanted to talk about this week...
Tell me.
I actually heard someone else talking about this, and it really made me think about this, which is fragile coworkers.
Ooh.
And when I say fragile coworkers, I mean the people that you have to have to take care of. You have to make sure they're okay all the time, even though everyone else is doing their job.
It's funny to me that we're having this conversation.
You have to cater to them.
Because we don't really have coworkers.
Well, we don't now.
Yeah,
but we have
many a time.
And I've been in places where it's like, you have that one coworker who misses work all the time because they're always sick. Their children are sick. They are having a mental health day. They're having a crisis. And every time they do, it's supposed to be you cater to them.
Yeah.
And you... go, well, you know, she's having a rough time or he's having a rough time. And so, you know, we won't rock the boat with this one. Yeah. And it's like, I hate that.
Me too. I will say if it's a consistent thing. Everyone has days. Life happens. If you come in and you're upset and something happened, please go home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Please call out. But if you are making it habitual, I will tell you about this girl I work with. This was a few years ago when I worked at Starbucks. I was her boss. Her name was also Annika. And I hated her. She was a really hardcore Christian. She wanted to, like, super bond with me about everything. And I was like, the only thing that we have in common is both of our names are Annika, but you spell yours wrong. That's it. But she, all the time, she had anxiety and would start having panic attacks when nothing was happening. And I'm not here to say, like, oh, your panic attacks aren't real. Of course they are. I'm very well aware. Welcome to Starbucks, where everyone has, this is like mental health issue galore, you know?
Right.
But I remember at the store I worked in, we had a drive-thru and a lobby, and she's at the front register in the lobby. There's literally nobody in line. There's nobody waiting for anything. There's people sitting at tables drinking their drinks. She's just standing. I'm helping drive through, whatever. She walks up to me and she's like, Annika, can you come to me? I'm really overwhelmed. I just need to go outside. And I said, what happened? She's like, nothing. I just need to go outside right now. Nothing happened. And I said, Panica, I'm going to need you to calm down. It's going to be okay. She got so fucking offended that I called her Panica. And I said, baby girl, you know that's also my name, right? Like, do you not think people have called me that? But she was so butthurt. And then, but this was just one example. It was always something where she was sick, or she was so upset, or she needed to go home, or her mom yelled at her, or what. It was always a thing. And so I was just so sick of it. But I was like, girl, what are we panicking about? Like, you have no one to help. You have no drinks to make. Like,
yeah, you have a little break here where you can just relax, take a breath,
yeah,
you know, do whatever. And now you're freaking out.
And she was also the girl who would, like, talk in accents when taking orders, because she's like, it helps me concentrate. And I said, it's offensive. You need to stop. And she cried. And I said,
because you're a bitch.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, you're talking in some, like, Australian, British, but then she would have, like, like a Hispanic accent, or she would talk like, she was from Asia, and she's a white girl.
Cringe.
Yeah, and I said, monomia.
It helps me concentrate to speak in an accent.
Yeah, and I said, I hate you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I work with someone who, when she's telling a story, like she watched a movie or she saw a thing, if someone in the story has an accent, when it gets to their part of the story, she tells it with an accent. It's like, don't.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, could you just tell the story? But she's also, and, you know, whatever. She's one of those people who cannot tell you the plot of a movie. Because, like, if she's telling you, and I'm going to make up a plot to this movie she watched where it's like, well, it's about these two people who go to space.
Give me an example. What about, like, The Little Mermaid?
Okay, she's giving you the plot of Little Mermaid. So The Little Mermaid is about this mermaid.
Yeah.
Goes right there in the title. And I'm like, so far so good.
She's little.
Who falls in love with a human.
Yeah.
And so she has to become human.
Right.
So she trades her voice for legs.
So she just tells you the whole movie.
But at the end she marries him, so it's okay. Yeah, it's like, what? You
told me
just told me the entire, it was like, other than like the intricacies of how she, but it's like, yeah, that's how she tells.
You could have been like, there was a mermaid who fell in love with a man, and it's
right.
her they're figuring it out.
All the things to figure that out.
Yeah,
the end.
The end.
Yes, but it's like one of those things. She was telling me the plot of some movie the other day, and I was like, don't. Because I know how this is going to end. Yeah. You're going to tell me how the movie ends. No.
She's telling you the plot of The Sixth Sense. She's like, he was dead the entire time.
Spoiler. Well, right, but then she goes, but then, one of them dies in the end. I'm like, why would you tell me? She goes, well, you don't know which one dies.
Yeah, but maybe I didn't think either of them were going to die.
Right, it's like, But one of my other friends, dear friend who I adore, before I saw The Crying Game, she told me the spoiler of that movie. And I was like, really?
Yeah, stupid
Which
bitch.
it made me wonder when I saw the movie, because of course then it wasn't a surprise. I knew it was. It made me wonder if it would be a surprise. Would I know the twist of that movie? And spoiler alert, the movie's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
That the leading lady in the movie is trans.
Yeah. I love that. I love when people... Sorry, the whole, spoiler alert, the movie's been out for 4 decades,
Right. So if you don't know this, then you're...
Probably never
going
going
to. You're going to go see it tomorrow and be like, damn it, that was on my movie list to see.
No, stupid. I can't.
No, but back to the whole fragile coworker thing.
Oh, yeah.
I worked with a woman who everything was a crisis. Mm-hmm. Everything was a panic. Everything. Like, I can't come to work today because... And it would be the dumbest shit. It's like... Wait, what? My husband didn't come home until late last night, so I didn't get enough sleep, so I can't come to work today.
That's not my problem.
Really not my problem.
No.
And then this particular employee ended when we had a snowstorm.
Okay.
And everyone else called me and said, I can't get out of my house.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the few times Portland had a real honest-to-God snowstorm. She never called.
She just assumed.
And...
She died.
Right. And so, then that day, I didn't open the salon where I was working because nobody could get there.
Yeah, it was a snowstorm.
Day 2, I was able to get to work,
sure.
But a lot of people still weren't. She still didn't call. And she was scheduled to work.
Did she die?
Day 3.
The snow's melted.
The snow has melted.
Yeah.
She still hasn't called. Well, now I'm assuming she's dead.
She is dead.
And I've tried to call her, didn't get anywhere. Get their answering machine, because that was in the days of answering machines.
Right.
Finally, on day 4...
She calls. She's been in Bora Bora this whole time.
She's been home the entire time.
Okay.
Couldn't get out of her house because of the snow. And she's like, man, I couldn't call because my phone was out. For 4 days.
Oh,
you couldn't walk over to your neighbor's house.
Where does she live?
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah, that shit.
And it's like, well, but I was home with my children and... Great.
Love that.
That's fine, but you have a phone.
Yeah.
You could have called me at any point.
Yeah. I hate that shit.
But with her, it literally was every little thing. Like, oh, my child had a rough day at school today. I can't. Kids have rough days. I mean, unless your child was injured and you had to take him to the hospital.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, honest to God.
Yeah. Coworkers like that, it's seriously too much. And I will tell you, the last manager I worked with, I liked her a lot. We're good friends. But she was also very much the same way. She was like, it's the anniversary of one of my friends died. Or, I got in a fight with my boyfriend. We're up, arguing. And it was just like, you're the manager, bitch. Like, I'm here with you, but, I don't care. You know what I mean? I do care because we're friends. But if it's going to make it so you can't do your fucking job...
Right. If it cripples you, if everything, every emotion, every... crisis, as you say, it cripples you, then that's a problem, and you shouldn't be a manager.
No, bitch, and I feel everything all the time too much. I don't think there are bounds to my empathy, right? But, I don't know. I'm not like, well, I can't come to work today because I'm just extra sad. I told you, on my way to work one day, I hit a little squirrel that I swear to God was a whole dozen kittens at one time, because my brain played tricks on me. Right. But I was on my way, and I opened, so it was 4 a.m. I pulled over and cried. For about 20 minutes, and then I got to work and said, I'm really sorry that I'm late, but I killed a whole batch of kittens, and I'm pretty sure they're mama cat too. It didn't. I'm pretty sure it was a squirrel.
Right.
But it was so devastating.
I'm pretty sure I killed all of the animals in Southeast Portland.
Yeah, so it was really devastating for me. But
I get that.
I didn't turn around and go home.
No, the only animal I've ever hit it was a possum when I was first learning to drive. Not first, when I first had my license, I was 19. And I had my own first car, and it ran out from between two parked cars, and I had no chance to stop.
Yeah.
I pulled over and cried.
Yeah,
I sat there for quite a while and cried until I was finally done crying, but I still can see it today.
Yes!
You know, and that was 100 years ago.
I know!
So,
see, girl, I'm with you.
but we have a friend who is super, super fragile, and every little thing, you know, sends her into a tiz of crying or throwing up or whatever, and it's like, everything. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you are 60 fucking years old and you are too fragile for the world, then either, you know, you need to get some help.
Oh, some real help, ma'am.
You know.
Yeah.
Or what, I don't know, but it's like, at that age, if you can handle nothing, if every little thing, every little pebble in your shoe becomes a major crisis, as opposed to just taking your shoe off and getting the pebble out, you know, it's like, you need help.
Tiring.
Yes.
It's so exhausting.
But you then have to seek help so that you won't be always trying to be... Because I believe that many of these people are just do it to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
Because they are lacking whatever it is.
Well, and that's worked. Do you know what I mean? That has worked for them. Clearly, they wouldn't continue to do it if it never worked. You know what I mean? Like, but it did.
Yeah.
And I think that is the most frustrating, is that people bought into it. And people, our specific friend, people still continually buy into it. And people still... do all the things for her that she could absolutely do herself. Yeah, that shit's a lot.
I've had people come to work and then they were crying because of a story they'd heard on the news and they were just too upset they couldn't work. I'm all, well, then don't watch the news. Because honestly, if you are that upset by the things happening in the world, and yes, you should be mad about it. Yes, you should be sad about it. Yes, you should be whatever, have empathy for these people, but it's not your life.
I will tell you, the one time that I was freaked out, that I was quite upset at work, was during the pandemic, during the wildfires, and Donald Trump had said that medical care could deny trans care, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that sent me into a little bit of a tizzy.
Sure.
It was the middle of a pandemic, wildfires. I'm like, so what happens if I need to go to the hospital?
It felt very end of the world.
Yeah.
It was that really was scary. A really horrible time.
Yeah.
Because, we were in a pandemic. And the air was unbreathable.
Oh, yeah.
It was, when you looked outside, everything was a weird color because of all the smoke.
Well, and if you could even see, like, there was points where I couldn't even see, like, 10 feet down the road in some places. It was so fucked. But
but that was a lot of things.
At one time.
A lot of people had issues during the pandemic because it was so much.
Yeah.
And it was something we'd never been through before.
Yeah, and I remember, but I mean, and with that, I found out all this was happening. Well, I knew the pandemic and the wildfires were happening. Donald Trump was like, fuck trans people and whatever, and I was like, what else, you know? And my district manager came into the store, and I remember pulling him aside and being like, I can't be here. Like, I need to go home. I don't feel good. I can't think about anything else. But I took it to my manager. You know, I said, this is what's happening. I need to leave. And so he gave me like a week off, which was great. It was really nice because I was spinning out of control, you know?
Sure.
But I didn't come to work every day being like, I can't be here. I'm just too upset. I just went to who I needed to go to and say, I'm struggling. I can't be here. I'm no use to you right now.
Well, and the fact that it's a rare occasion that you're like, I can't work because I'm struggling with this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it every day, every week, every month, whatever,
tiring.
Girl, get a grip. Good God, girl, get a grip.
Mary, I know, it's tiring.
All right, so I only have one more topic I want to talk about, and this one is nothing to do with any of the other things we talked about.
Oh, good, okay.
This is about me.
Oh, of course.
And a little thing that I'm going through right now, I told you about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's very common for people when their children become teenagers to get baby fever. Because they're like, my children are growing up and I need that feeling of a baby. I would rather shoot myself.
I was like, I'm
have a baby
old folks
again.
home right now.
Right, do it. If I say I want another baby, then just know that I'm having a stroke or something. Get me to the hospital.
I'm calling 911.
Because I love my children, oh my God, more than anything in the world. But I don't want babies again. I'm too old for that shit.
Ugh.
You know, it's like you don't sleep. You know, it's like, oh.
It sounds awful.
I have children who are old enough to now tell me if there's something wrong. Tell me when they're hungry.
Even
tell me what they want. Even when nothing's wrong, they can still tell me something's wrong. But what I have is puppy fever.
I got that.
And actually, I don't want a puppy. I don't want, because same reason I don't want a baby, because they're too much work. Puppies, you have to potty train. They're often up all night crying.
Yeah, they are.
And whatever.
Well, and you also kennel your dog, so they cry
yes.
when they're not used to it. Yeah.
Right. But We have 3 very large dogs. We have a Great Dane.
You have one large
What's
dog
funny,
and 2
we have
dogs.
1 giant dog and 2 large dogs. And the 2 large dogs
Are they large?
feel tiny to me. Yeah.
Okay.
They're 60 pounds. That's a big dog.
Well, Annabelle was 65 pounds, and I considered her to be a small dog.
She was a footstool, though, that dog. I love that dog. Anyway, so we have 2 pit bulls and a Great Dane.
Yeah.
And here I am, suddenly jonesing for a 4th dog.
That's so funny.
And not a small one either. I don't want a small dog.
Like a
because the
Chihuahua.
only small dog I like is yours.
Yeah.
And she's not even a tiny dog.
No.
But she's just this
She's
crazy...
like 30 pounds of
Yeah,
energy.
so she's just slightly bigger than your cat.
Yeah.
And I do mean slightly.
Yeah. Kitty girl, big girl. You know they're the same length, laying down.
That's not surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, but I just... One day, I was sitting there and I go, oh, I wonder if there's any cute dogs. Because sometimes I just like looking at dog pictures because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And by the way, until I met my husband, never a dog person.
No,
Never
I
had a
know.
dog.
Yeah.
I grew up with cats.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't want one. But anyway,
Kidding.
yeah, I started looking at... I was like, one more dog.
Yeah.
Probably, that would be okay. Of course, it's like, well, this Great Dane is cute. So another giant dog.
But didn't that Great Dane also come with a bonded
That was
pet?
a different one.
Oh, okay.
That was a different one. So that's 5 or 6 dogs into the search. Because I found one and I was like, oh, your dog's adorable. Typey to the little... And they would write me back, oh, she's wonderful. She's sweet. Messages back and forth. Until I sent her the message saying, here's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
It's like, I married with children, take care of my 85-year-old mother, have 3 dogs, blah, blah. And that was when she goes to me and we're all silent.
And she said, no.
Yeah. She just said nothing. At home, she goes, oh, crazy bitch.
Uh-huh.
You don't need
Do
no more
not
dogs. Are you a
respond.
hoarder? What is happening to you? And then it was like, okay, on to the next. And so, yes, one of the dogs, I found this beautiful Great Dane. And it's all shelter dog, all rescues, because I love rescuing dogs. Mm-hmm. Okay? And apparently that's my thing. But I found this other one, put in a thing on him, and the very next day, got a message back saying, oh, that dog has been removed from the website of this rescue. And I was like, oh, okay, well,
Next.
and then I found another dog. But 3 days later, I get a message saying, hey, I saw that you put in a request about this Great Dane. Would you consider taking 2 dogs? Because he's bonded to his sister who's a boxer. And I'm all... for some reason, I do have a limit, I guess. Because I was like, 5 dogs? That's ridiculous!
Which is so funny to me because in this house that we're sitting in alone, 3 adults lived here, 3 cats, and 3 dogs for a period of time. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Your house is
Also
much bigger.
ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Well, at one point, all of that was in your room.
Yeah. Oh.
In one bedroom.
Yeah, too much.
So, yeah, ridiculous. But it's funny to me that my limit is 4 great big dogs. 1 extra. Oh, no, that's too much.
Too many.
And I was all... Then I tried to talk you into taking the...
Right.
Bond. And I was like, they can play in the yard together all the time.
Yeah.
But if bonded dogs need to be
Yeah,
together,
I
blah,
was
blah,
like,
blah.
sure, I'll take a boxer, but I don't think she'll be very happy without her, I don't know, brother that she's bonded to. I know. So have you found a dog that you're taking yet?
Well, that's the other thing, is I heard back from this one place, and it's like... Because I told them my story, the same story, where I'm a crazy lady with 3 dogs.
Maybe you just lie.
Well, and they were like, I think she would love this. And this dog's name is Keiko, and she's a pit bull, and she's beautiful.
She
and
looks like Mika
she's
Jones.
a pity mix.
Yeah, she looks like Mika Jones.
Yeah. 60 pounds of dog, and I'm all cool. And the person wrote me back said, I think she would love this. So I put in my application, and radio silence. And I'm all, what the fuck? And so I wrote back and said, is there something else happening? What happens next? And she was like, oh, well, we're all volunteers, so it'll take 2 or 3 days to get your application assigned to somebody else. Okay. Well, P.S., 5 working days later, I still haven't heard anything. So I'm, of course, looking at other dogs again, because I'm all, if you can't get back to me, I'm going to continue.
TikTok bitch.
But every time it falls through, I say to myself, this is obviously a sign. You just need to stop looking. No. And I'll say that to myself, and then the next day be like, typey. Who's next? Where's the dog?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So. I know. It's crazy.
Honestly, I get it.
I know.
I wanted to adopt, like, every animal I've ever seen, but after Annabelle passed, I told Gavin, like, I need a minute.
Yeah.
I love my Jean and I love my kitty girl, but Annabelle was my baby, so I need some time, you know?
Yeah,
so
she was your ride or die.
Yeah, for real. And so we've talked about getting one this winter for like a Christmas present, you know? So that's our Christmas present this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So you're saying I should get you a dog as a Christmas present? Absolutely.
Sure. Do you want to get it now and just call it an early Christmas present?
It is almost Christmas.
It is. It's only August 20th.
I'm going to start decorating soon for Christmas, so...
Yeah. It's only 4 months away, right?
Oh my
August.
God, yeah.
Yeah, that's math. Crazy. Well, it's fall. I want you to know we had that, like, thundery kind of storm.
Oh, yeah.
I
scared
was
the shit out of all my dogs.
Same. I had to hold kitty girl all night again, like we're at the beach. It was great. She just shook.
Poor baby.
I know, but I was like, it's fall. It is almost fall, and I'm like... I was ready for fall and winter, though, when spring started. So, which is
I
so
know. You just
stupid.
want to skip summer and go right to fall. I get that.
I know.
I know. But things come... My anniversary is coming up next week. This Saturday.
What day?
26th.
24th. 4th.
24th, I will
What
be
is-
married to my
oh.
husband 21 years.
That's exciting.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really crazy, because I was there.
And it's also the next day is the anniversary of our adoption of Grace.
I know.
14 years.
I know.
Because she was
Your
just
children.
she was just a little under a year when we got her. No, 15 years. Because she was a little under a year when we got her, and she's about to turn 16.
Where are you going to get me for my gotcha day? And, well, bitch, eat shit. I'm not getting
Wow.
you anything. What the fuck do you mean?
I'm just going to jump out from behind something and go, gotcha!
Yeah, bitch, I have a birthday, all right? Your parents have a birthday and a Father's or Mother's Day. You guys have a birthday and a gotcha day. What the fuck do I have? I'm not getting you anything. Get away from me. That's what I say.
Wow.
I'll get you a black eye for your gotcha day, bitch.
Well, you know.
You know?
If violence is the answer, then violence is the answer.
You know, I've learned from the world that if you want to survive, you just have to fight.
Sure.
So, I'm going to go fight my little...
You're going to fight your little siblings.
Yeah.
They're almost as big as you now.
Which is so funny, because I'm pretty sure one of them thinks that they could fight me, and I'm like, little boy, I could crack you over my knee, skinny.
Oh, and so with that little lighthearted note of Annika beating up her siblings, we're going to head on out of here.
Yeah, we are.
Because it's time.
Yeah.
We have reached the end of our rope.
I
And,
need a nap.
yeah, and a nap sounds good. I've been up since 2:30 this morning for some stupid-ass reason.
Why?
I woke up literally just drenched in sweat.
Me too, yeah.
You know, I thought I was all over night sweats and shit. And got up, mopped myself off, went back to bed, and then couldn't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And
Was
I'm
your
all-
bed wet too? I hate that when your sheets
No,
feel
but
damp.
my pillow was.
I hate
Gross.
that. Yeah, I woke up
Gross.
sweaty too. I hate it. Ugh.
So, yeah, I'm going to go over and take a night-night.
Night-night.
I'm going to try and watch more of the Goldbergs and
Yeah.
get some sleep.
Go sleep. Yep, I get it. I'm going to watch SVU and then do homework and...
But until then, you know, we're going to finish up here and all those fun things. And we put out our content every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
It comes out every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you download a podcasting app, because you can find us on all of the major podcasting apps, and probably some of the minor ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can send us your thoughts and concerns.
Mostly concerned.
To it would seem as though at gmail.com.
Yeah, your hate, your love,
We don't
your
care.
disdain.
Whatever
yeah,
it is.
I'm into it.
Send it all to us. We don't care.
I like the attention.
That's because you're an attention whore.
Listen, I don't go anywhere anymore. How am I getting any attention from anybody? I stay at home.
Oh.
Anyway.
And on that note...
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
It would seem as though